All right, good morning, guys. It's Crypto with Kenny here. So what I want to do is I want to go over the long term, the short term, and the midterm. We're going to start out with the long term. Long term wise, we are still on goal to have some higher highs. We had this trend line here that's been hugely observed as support and resistance. So we've gotten above it, got below it, got above it. We might break below it again, but it is not going to be in the short term, and I don't see it in the midterm. Long term, I do see us getting back below it, but then I see it using us as like a magnet to pull us into that last parabolic high. That's exactly what I feel will occur. Again, this is my thoughts, my ideas, my opinions, not financial advice. So let's break it down into the midterm, okay, and then we'll get into the short term, okay. So we are on the 4 hourly chart. I should be able to use this for most of what I'm about to show you guys, okay. All right, so if we zoom in here, okay, for a midterm over the next, well, basically between now and the new year is what I'm looking at. There are a few possibilities that we are looking at. All right. Um, for the upside tick, okay. So, in the event that we continue with the bullish momentum, which we are currently creating a cup and handle scenario, if it plays out, we should be bullish up to a trend line. However, we do have this descending vertical channel that we could bounce off of and come back down to retest this long-term trend line. If we don't and we continue to the upside, we will be looking at retesting this upper trend line, um, and if we break above it, I don't look for us to go very high. Just with the sentiment around the Christmas and the holidays, there's not a lot of focus. Traders are in and out. They're not, 100% focused on what's going on. So I look for sideways action in here any way we look at it. If these don't play out, okay, then I look for a bearish trend. So what do I mean? Midterm, next 2 weeks, I look, if we do break out of this cup and handle to the upside, we could still come down. If we break out of it to the downside, we'll come down and we will wind up probably knocking off this support line again and coming back up. The volume is not looking that way, okay? It's just not. So right now, volume's looking like we're going to come up in this zone. We could break in here, come back down somewhere in here, and then I look for an upside breakout somewhere in there. Of course, we'll be getting closer to Inauguration Day. That's going to pump some volume into the crypto market. And that's why I look for us to get above the trend line right around the new year. And then follow this parabolic to an upside momentum. Okay, short term. Okay, let's look at the short term 30-minute marker. Here's what I was looking at. Okay, creating sort of a sloppy cup and handle in here. And this would be our handle. This would be what we'd be watching for our exit, whether it spills out to the bottom or whether it up clicks to the top. That's probably about right. Problem with the up click to the top is we do have to fight to get over this line. That's going to be the key right there. If we easily break through that with the consolidation we've got going on in here, we should be able to push through that line pretty easy. We sort of scrubbed it out a lot here. So I don't look for it to hold very well as a resistance line. It's just, it's acting more like a support line because every time we get above it, we push away from it pretty good. All right. So yeah, short term, I look for cup and handle to play out and push to the top. Push above this 99,586 line. So reason I say that is we had a low here. This was our low for this downtrend. That's when we broke out of the broadening wedge. Created a high. Then we created a higher low, which is bullish. Okay, so now we are looking to confirm this is bullish again. And how we would do that was we would create a higher high over here somewhere. So I look for us to bounce around in the short term. If I exit out of this, I'd say if we do the height of the cup, okay, give or take height of the cup, okay, and then we move that to the top of the handle. This would be our positive trade. If we were going to take a scalp trade, we would enter in here once we break above this trend line and enter in here and take it to the top. We have this descending resistance line, so we would want to get out before we would bounce off of it, possibly to the downside. For trades wise, we would be looking at a measurement of a possible 1.64% trade. Of course, if you leverage that you're looking at a 3% trade for 2x. Obviously, 4x, you're looking for 6%. All right. If you're not scalp trading, this is a good buy zone for right now. You are going to see a 1% uptick by the end of the day with a possible another 1.5% here. Let's see. By lunchtime, give or take, by lunchtime. So you could make some buys here. We did create our low. All right. So if you look at this like a long-term chart, here was our peak. We come down, we crashed down. Okay, took our 80%. We came down a little further. We created our low trough. This is our indicator that the run is over and that we are going to continue up to the upside. And then when you create another higher high, just like a big chart, like we see when we click back to a weekly, you come up, you create a low trough, indicates the end of that run to the downside, and then it pumps up. You can also see it on the monthly. It's the same exact thing. Okay, you had this high, you come crashing down 80%, you create your low trough, and then you confirm that the run is over by coming above it and rechecking it. This is what starts your trend lines. Okay, and then you create your push to the upside to get above your old high. You get above your old high, you scrub it out a little bit, you confirm you don't want to go any lower, and then once you break back above it, from there to the top is trade. Okay, from here to here would have been a long trade. And that long trade would have netted you somewhere between the ballpark of 41%. Okay, 41%. This stuff is no brainer if you can hold the long-term stuff and buy in these real big lows. Okay, you guys obviously are here towards the top of this play out, so you won't have a lot left in this, in my opinion. Again, I'm going off of old trends, no ETFs. Okay, this time around it's different. We have this golden rod from this high down here, from the original OG run to the second OG run to a midterm exploration of value to a long-term spike. Then China said no Bitcoin mining. Then we came back up and we still retested that, confirmed that we were still going to come back again. So this is 1, 2, we'll say 3. And this is our 4th halving event. We have hit this line. We have never had the volume of ETFs like this ever before. ETFs is going to be a solid inflow unless the stock market literally takes a dump like Jerome Powell caused. But it is not dumping. It is just a momentary downtrend. Okay? I've looked at those charts. In fact, I will look at those charts with you now. Okay? But what I see is we're going to come back down. We're in this range. And we are going to uptick above this trend line for the first time. Long term, that's what I see over the next year. We get above this line. Okay? We get above that line, that's 120. So I look for us to come up maybe 125,000, come back down, test that line, and boom, all the way to 250, 300,000. That 250, 300,000 is going to be a hard mark to hit, though. You're going to want to be out of your positions by the time it hits that, just to make sure you don't get caught holding bags. All right, but ETFs, let's go look at that real quick. I know I'm covering a lot. I know this video is dragging on. I'm sorry, guys. All right, I'm really sorry. I just feel like I need to cover this with you guys. So I'll use IBIT. I have some trades involved with IBIT. We have talked about this before. I want you to look at this chart from the same monthly aspect we just looked at Bitcoin. Okay, ETFs haven't been out that long, but every one of these candles is a month. Look at this huge amount of volume. Huge. It's just insane. Now we could have another one of these, but we are outside. We went outside the box. Okay, so let's go to the weekly. All right, we went outside the box on the weekly. Okay, the uptrend trend, and we did come back down to retest the top of the trend box on the weekly. So my guess is we are going to continue with huge inflows of ETF buy-ins because this ETF should be well over $100 a share. It's for Bitcoin. It's for the biggest, baddest cryptocurrency on the market. This should be $100, no brainer. We've already hit 61.75, so our next stop would probably be somewhere around 70. You get these mind tricks around key numbers like 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%, and then the cycle starts over. So like Bitcoin hit over 100,000 at 108. Now it's psychological. They're back down below that 100 mark. It's just going to keep happening. So with that said, if this doubles, if that ETF doubles in value, imagine the volume that is going to be pumped into Bitcoin and the markets in general, because people like you are getting involved in crypto. You are part of the before the 50% mark. 43% of people were involved in crypto as of November, I think it was. So you were still before you hit the 50% mark, which is pretty huge. So let's break it down to the daily. Okay, we did come down. I did predict here that we could come down here as far as a 50%, 50 to retest. I don't know if we're going to do that. This bearish hammer candle is pretty weak on the daily. It is not strong, and when compared to the last one, it's at that same area. It doesn't look like it has a lot of momentum. If we break it down to the hourly, we have created an inverted head and shoulders, so we should be pushing back up here to the upside. I don't think we're going to get back in this upper trend trough. probably bounce around below it in this broadening wedge till we consolidate. And when we consolidate, we'll probably consolidate all the way up till the inauguration day, in which we will get positive vibes, positive feed, positive inflow, and that's when we'll be seeing the huge spike for Bitcoin. I'm still waiting for Bitcoin dominance to drop, so we truly see altcoin season. But that's what I think. That's what I think about the markets today. That's how I feel. My opinions, thoughts translates into whatever you guys feel. So I will be creating some more videos on how to make trend lines, how to look for them, how to see patterns, and try to share what I know. And hopefully we can all make a positive influence on others around us and be able to give back to those who have given to us. All right, so you have a great day and see you next time.